work on general kind of waking up readiness for the summer program, and kind of repeat pretty much the same classes for a little while. And I did a summary and put it on the channel, just so I don't know.
You put it on where?
I have a YouTube channel where I record the classes and you can do with them. So, anyhow. So let's go on my down. And notice which body part does not feel happy. Maybe poking into the ground. And start shaking, rocking the pelvis from right to left. Just along the sacrum, the triangle bone between the two hips. And notice as you are rocking from left to right and right to left, which side willing to rock a little bit further, and which side kind of end at the edge of the sacrum. And notice if your legs are participating, and if your spine participates, and if your ribs participate, or it's very limited, which is okay, we're just starting. And let it all go. And take a breath in and a breath out. And start, choose the side that did not rock as well as the other one. Choose that side to start with. And take the heel of that leg and lengthen it a little bit out of the hip. And let it spring back into the hip. So you lengthen that leg from the heel. And you let it spring back. And the lengthening can be in millimeters, can be in 1/4 of an inch. The distance is really not important. It's the lengthening, and notice if you're inhaling or exhaling as you're moving, or you're holding your breath, try to breathe. And as the leg lengthens, what happens in your hip? And let that side go, and we're going to go to the other side. Lengthen the other leg from the heel. Do you feel the bones lengthening? Do you feel the sacrum moving along the mat? Do you feel the ribs changing shape? And let that side go. And rock from side to side. And notice if there's any difference in the quality of the rocking. And let it go. And go back to your first leg and lengthening it out from the heel. But instead of letting it go, bring it back in and push it in a little bit. So you are lengthening the leg, no bend at the knee, and you're shortening the leg. You're shoving it into the hip socket. And what's your preference in terms of the breath? following the movement of the leg, getting longer and getting shorter. And when it gets shorter, where do you feel it in your back? And what happens to the vertebrae as you're shortening the leg? Can you feel the lower ribs getting closer to the ground? And let it go. And if you worked a little too hard, you'll feel the muscle now relaxing. And now we'll go to the other leg, lengthening from the heel and shortening through the bones into the hip socket. And last week we talked how the meeting, so as the leg shortening, you can feel the second lumbar getting closer to the ground, and as the heel is lengthening, the vertebrae of the lower leg are moving away from the floor. And maybe you're exhaling as you get shorter leg, and you're inhaling as you're getting a longer leg. And let it go. So the socket that the legs go into the pelvis is ball and socket, so that you have like a full range of closer to a like full circle, and you have all the synovial fluid at the top of the femur going into the hip, and it's somewhere in the middle of the hip. Think about where the femur bone comes up, and somewhere in the middle of the hip, that's where the head of the femur meets. And now we're going to work with one leg lengthening while the other one is shortening. From the heel through straight legs, so no bend at the knee. One leg will shorten and the other one will lengthen. If you had eyes up on the ceiling looking down at your pelvis, or you can put your fingers on the ilium bone in the front, the ASIS, and feel how those bones are moving up and down, or like the hip is turning a little bit as Lazy Susan, just a little bit of a turn, maybe from 12 to turn, or from 12 to 2. As the leg shortens and lengthens. And if, we all have differences, which leg lengthens more, which one shortens more. Some of us don't have room in the lumbar on one side because of scoliosis. What is going on and how does it feel? And try to move the legs out a little bit to a maybe bigger V, and see if that affects the quality of the lengthening and shortening. And as you're doing, try to ease the movement, find it comfortable rather than pushing. And can you feel the vertebrae in the back moving from side to side, and the ribs are responding, and maybe even the shoulders are responding. And rest in this middle and let it go. And go ahead and bring your arms somewhat above 90 degrees, if you can, to either 60 or 45, like a diagonal. And start lengthening one arm and bringing it back into the center. And lengthen one arm and bring it back into the center. And the same rules here, you don't bend at the elbows. The arms are lengthened and you're moving through the bones. And notice the shift. And especially if you do know that you have scoliosis, one side will shift very differently than the other. And there's nothing to do to change it, but to notice and see how to get the movement to be more ease and efficient. How can you make your body more comfortable to lengthen? Like think about you reaching up to a closet to get the cruise tool for a special holiday. And you need to reach and rest that side. And lengthen the other arm out of its socket and back to where it came from. And you'll notice how different the quality on this side is from the other. It may be the space that you can move, it can be the thickness of the muscles, it can be the space in the joint, it can be tightness of muscles. Are the ribs coming with you, with the bones that are lengthening? Is the head position changing on the floor? Are your eyes traveling on the ceiling? And rest. And now lengthen the first arm, but instead of just coming to neutral, shove it in and meet the second vertebra of your lumbar area. And lengthen it. And now shorten it. And notice what else is responding to that shortening. It may happen to you automatically, without me even suggesting it. And rest that side. And move to the other arm, lengthen it, and through coming back, start shortening it. And lengthen it, and shortening it. And lengthen it. And find a rhythm that works for you. You may want to slow down and explore what the ribs are doing. Maybe they're leaving the floor. Maybe they don't need to. Maybe you're holding your breath when you're shortening. See if you can do it with exhalation maybe. And rest. Rest your arm, lower them down. Close your eyes for a second and imagine that you see your arms in a V and your legs in a V. And imagine that you see your right arm as an extension of your left leg and your left arm as an extension of your right leg. So there are two straight lines that are crossing on the second vertebra of your lumbar, where you put the belt. See if you can visualize that X of the two long bones in the leg, the tibia and the fibula at the bottom and the femur on the thigh, and the arms connecting to one another, the arm and the opposite leg, and the other arm with the opposite leg. And go ahead and bring your arms again up, so you have the humerus and the fibula and radius all aligned in straight line, and the legs are in straight line. And now as you're shortening one arm and lengthening the other arm, something is happening to the legs, and they are moving in relations to the movement of the arms. Or that the legs are shortening and the arms are lengthening. So when my left leg is shortening, my right arm is long, and when my right leg is short, my left arm is long. And work with different length and width of the arms and width of the leg, and find which one connects the best for you today. The elbows are not bent. The elbows are not bent. The elbows are not bent. And the legs are open to the V, like a little wider than your top of your leg. Open your legs a little bit wider. Open your legs almost to the edge of the mat. And now see the straight line from arm to leg and leg to arm. And when one is long, that arm is short. And when that leg is short, that arm is long. And the elbows are not bent. It happens through moving the spine. The elbows are not bending. You're finding it in the spine. There. Yes. This will be amazing for you every day. You can do it when you wake up in the morning, in bed. You can do it when you go to sleep. And start teaching the spine to relate to the movement that happens on the top and relates in the bottom. What happens in the bottom? It's amazing how disturbances like that can take me off my center. More than 40 years of teaching never fails. Okay. Rest your arms, lower your arms. Go ahead and bend one leg, bend the other leg. Move the pelvis from north to south and from south to north. Down to the tailbone and up to the belly button. Down to the tailbone and up to the belly button. Feel how the weight goes into the feet when you are on your belly button, and how it goes a little bit more forward and less weight when you go to the tail. And rest. And now start shifting to the right side of the hip and rock very, very slow and deliberately to the left. And do not move the knees from looking straight up to the ceiling. So the hip is moving underneath the leg. You're rocking from right to left and left to right, as if you had marbles in the ball of your hips, and you are rolling the marble from side to side, but you don't want to spill them, so you stop at the end. You're ironing the sacrum as you come through the center and the marbles are starting to roll. You use your feet, so when I'm on my right side of the hip, my left foot is anchoring. And as I'm rolling the marbles to the left side of my hip, my right leg will engage. And start playing with the rhythm and the freedom. We did it in the beginning with straight legs. Try to make it a little bit speedier. And rest. Go ahead and take the leg that you started with, if you still remember, and put it up above the knee of the other leg, and bring the knee across your belly and outside towards the feet. So you're rotating the leg in the hip all the way to the opposite shoulder and all the way towards the toes that are on the floor. Don't move the knee that's standing. The knee that's standing, the leg that's standing is your anchor. Don't move it right and left. There you go. You're allowed to move the hip as much as you want, but not the foot that's standing on the ground. And let that leg go down. And bring the other leg up. Make sure that this leg now is standing steady. And the knee is coming across. And rotating, opening that hip. And rotating in, across your belly. You can wait there for a second, but kind of now we're going into a little bit of a stretching of the muscles, getting into a little bit of tendons. And lower the leg, and lengthen the legs back down, and rotate the legs out, and rotate both legs in and pause. And allow the ligaments in the pelvis to open up and stretch a little bit, and rotate out. And rotate back in, the feet are going in, both feet together, both legs and feet are going inward. Hold it there, hold it inside, hold it in, and try to lower your sacrum and your lumbar a little bit towards the floor. Don't arch your back, if you can, and allow the legs to turn out. And one more time, turn them both legs in, and don't lift your lumbar away from where it is. Try to keep it as lower as you can. And relax. And now start making full circle with your heels. Both heels are making full circle, which will bring you into the lumbar when your toes are up, and will bring you down to the tailbone when your toes are away from you, and will bring you back into the lumbar when your toes are up, and down to the tailbone when your toes are away from you. So your pelvis is responding. Yes. full circle. Try to change the direction of the circle. Not just the feet, all the way to the hip. There. Yeah, get the whole body to and let it go. And bend both feet, both legs, I'm sorry, feet on the floor, knees are up to the ceiling. Take the first leg and put it back on the knee, opposite knee. We're going to bend both legs over the body, going down towards the floor. When you get to the bottom of where you can go and the shoulder is still on the ground, make sure that both shoulders are still on the ground. If you want, you can take the opposite arm of the leg that's on top and put it over the leg and look away. And just breathe in this position. Stay there and breathe in that position. And now very, very gently start rocking on the ribs that are on the floor, feeling how the opposite shoulder wants to leave the ground, and you are creating a seesaw between rolling the ribs that are on the floor and the shoulder that's on the ground, allowing it to lift a little bit, and rocking back on the ribs, bringing the shoulder back down. And then okay, when you're ready, take the hand off the knees, bring the knees closer to the chest, and roll your hip back into the center. Take the leg off, stay in the middle for a second. And when you're ready, bring the other leg over the knee, crossing over the body to the opposite side. When you get to the end of your range, when your shoulder is still on the floor, the opposite shoulder is still on the floor, if you want, you can put your hand over to have a little bit more weight, and just wait here and breathe. You can take your head to the opposite side. So if your knees are looking to the left, your head would look to the right. And now start rolling the ribs, allowing the shoulder to come off the floor and into the floor. Roll the ribs and the shoulder is responding. The legs are not moving, it's the ribs that's rolling. The legs are all the way down towards the floor, and it's the ribs that are rolling. And the shoulder that's on the floor is coming a little bit off and a little bit back into the ground. And when you're done, release the hand, Bring the knees closer to the chest and roll the hip back to the center and bring the other leg back down and rest. Lengthen your legs and take your right hand and put it on your chest and cross it over to the left arm, that's 90 degrees, and keep on coming as far as you can, and then come back. And we're going to go forward and back, trying to roll the ribs. And hopefully we can roll the ribs all the way to our belly, maybe. But the strength comes from the softness and the suppleness of the ribs. Make sure that you're rolling your head with the movement and you're not forcing it with your legs. We want to find the softness in the ribs. And the rotation of the vertebrae and the spine. And if you can go only partial of the way today, that's fine too. Just see if you can breathe through it. And then when you get back to the center, we'll change side, and you're going to try to roll the other hand over the chest, over the arm, allowing the ribs to roll, exhaling, rolling your eyes and your head. And back to the center. And then again, the first arm, put it on the chest, cross it over the arm, lengthen it, lengthen it, lengthen it. When you get to the side, bend your both knees, put your head in front of your belly, and see if you can get up. One knee is in front of the other. One knee is in front of the other. Let's go back down. And now we're going to go back down. Coming back to the same. And we'll try the other side. Rolling over the arm. Bending the knees, putting the hand in front of the belly, and pressing on the hand to come up. Yeah, push with that hand, don't push on with that hand, no. Push with your right hand on the floor. So the left hand has to be up above. So, this arm is long, this arm is going to be in front of your belly, and you're going to roll back down. Let's do it one more time to each side. Take the one arm, bring it over the body, over the arm, roll the head, roll the eyes, roll the ribs. When it's time, bend both knees. The arm that's underneath and long will come up a little bit, and the other knee will come in front of your chest, and you're going to push into sitting. There you go. And then you're going to go back down. And we're going to do the other side. Arm over the chest, over the arm, rolling the ribs, rolling the eyes, rolling the head. Lifting the arm a little bit above, putting the other hand in front of you, bending the knees, and coming up to sitting position.
It's like so much easier.
One side is easier.